Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Nothing to learn from Kenny Pickett miss, Pittsburgh Steelers owner says. Pittsburgh Steelers team president Art Rooney too does not believe there is much to learn from the team missing on Kenny Pickett in the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft. Rooney was asked about the declaration that the team must fix quarterbacks if that position is a spot they look into fixing, and it does not seem like a big thing the team plans to look back on when selecting their next quarterback. I think that obviously it's disappointing that Kenny didn't work out to be our long-term quarterback here, Rooney said. I'm not sure there's a lot to be learned from that. We just have to look at the next opportunity and make sure we do a good job evaluating it the next time around. Pickett spent 2 seasons as Pittsburgh's primary starter after starring at Pitt. His time with the Steelers ended in March when he was traded to Philadelphia for draft picks. The Steelers parlayed that into Justin Fields, who started 6 games for the team and was the backup to Russell Wilson for the rest of the season. Steelers fans won't have their biggest wish granted in 2025. We asked for it, but we did not receive it. After the Steelers continued their 8-year drought without a playoff win, fans called for Pittsburgh to make major changes to its coaching staff in 2025. That isn't happening. Recently, Art Rooney too sat down for a one-on-one end-of-season interview with broadcaster Rob King, where he fielded questions about the state of the team. Rooney too made it clear that he would like either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson on the roster for the coming season, preferably on a multi-year deal. He also shut down the idea of the Steelers increasing the size of its coaching staff, one of the smallest in the league. But when asked about coaching changes, Rooney too didn't give the answer we all hoped for. The coaching staff, I think most of it will stay in place, Rooney told King. Our coordinators, I think, will stay in place. I look forward to having Arthur Smith for a second year and having him have more of an opportunity to kind of really put his system in place. So there's work to be done. And for the most part, I think we have the right people and the right jobs to do it. After signing a 3-year contract with the Steelers, Arthur Smith was never going to be fired this offseason. Teryl Austin, on the other hand, is a different story. Though the defensive coordinator still has 1 year remaining on his contract, Austin's despicable defensive game plan down the stretch is grounds for divorce from the team. Steelers are foolish not to make significant coaching changes. If any coaching changes come for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it won't be to Mike Tomlin or any of the 3 coordinators. Instead, based on Rooney's response, it's likely to be just a few assistant coaches who have expiring contracts. This is not the significant change this team needs. As furious as fans are with Coach Tomlin after another season that ended in disappointment, there's even more reason to move on from Austin. In the Week 18 season finale, a must-win game that would have ensured the Steelers a better matchup in the wild card round of the playoffs, Austin's game plan couldn't have been worse. Pittsburgh's defensive coordinator elected to leave cornerback Corey Trice Jr. on an island with Ja'Marr Chase, the Triple Crown wide receiver and Offensive Player of the Year candidate. This was Trice's first-ever NFL start, and his assignment couldn't have been more difficult. In the following week in the playoffs against the Ravens, Austin's game plan should have had him fired at halftime. With no Zay Flowers, Baltimore rolled out 6 offensive linemen 22.2% of the time, in addition to frequently using 300-pound fullback Patrick Richard, and pounded the rock with 245-pound All-Pro running back, Derrick Henry. Pittsburgh's solution to stopping one of the league's most lethal rushing attacks was deploying their nickel defense with 5 defensive backs on the field for roughly half the game. And they wonder how the Ravens were able to rush for 299 yards against them. Teryl Austin is far from the only problem on the team, but firing him this offseason should have been an easy move. Regardless of which coaches remain under contract, Art Rooney too needs to make more significant changes to his coaching staff if this team wants to find better results in 2025. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that is happening. Trading TJ Watt is unlikely, says Art Rooney too. The Pittsburgh Steelers stumbled through the end of a once promising season, so it's no surprise that members of the media are proposing drastic changes. When the team consistently fails in the playoffs with no apparent path to turn things around, perhaps nobody should be safe. Some have even wondered if TJ Watt could be on the trade block. Art Rooney too spoke with KDKA's Bob Pompiani today and was asked about trading Watt. He didn't completely shut down the idea, but he came pretty close. "I have to put it in the unlikely category in terms of trading TJ," Rooney said. "He's certainly been one of the real solid pieces that we have on that defense, and just a dedicated player, loves being a Steeler. And so I think he's the kind of guy we want to have in the locker room going forward." Our latest videos. Teams rarely improve by parting ways with their best players, and there is little argument that Watt has been the team's best player for the last several seasons. He didn't finish the 2024 season strong, but that was a team-wide problem. The main argument in favor of trading Watt is that the Steelers aren't on an immediate path to competing for a Super Bowl. They need a quarterback above all else, and they might not be able to do that without stockpiling draft picks to make a move up in either the upcoming 2025 NFL Draft or the following year, 2026. What could be a piece that allows them to get premium picks back in return? At 30 years old, will he still be around by the time the Steelers complete this roster transition? That said, the Steelers aren't the type of team to sell themselves short. They legitimately try to put together the best possible roster every season and don't operate in a way that would allow them to pawn the present to save the future. Mike Tomlin has said very clearly in the past that his current team works too hard for him to think about anything other than them. He considers it his duty to maximize the current group at all costs. And you, fan? What do you think about TJ Watt's exit? Leave your opinion in the comments.